Hello, everyone. Welcome to Good Film Hunting, a podcast about an average couple who are on the hunt for some good movies. In today's world, we are consuming more media than ever, perhaps more passively than ever. But we believe that by documenting and discussing the media we intake, how and what we intake will change for the better. It is important that we don't just become another consumer, but a participant, seeking to engage with the media we consume, so that we can see how our view of the world affects how we perceive it, and how it affects how we perceive the world. In this podcast, we are not only on the hunt for some good movies, but on the hunt for a good discussion. So, lean in, participate, and enjoy. Well, good evening, everyone. James and Savannah here, as usual. It's been a few weeks now, hasn't it, since we've done this?
It's been a little while.
It's been a little while. We've been busy. Went on vacation. We've had a baby who's needed lots of attention, so it just hasn't quite worked out. But we're back, and hopefully we'll be more consistent, at least for another stretch of time. We'll see.
It's true. Maybe we should clarify that in the span of last podcast and this podcast, we did not have a baby that needs a lot of attention. We have always had a baby.
Yeah.
For the past year, almost. We've had a baby that needs a lot of attention.
Yeah, he just needs a lot of attention in general sometimes.
It's true.
That's what that is. So how are you doing this evening, babe?
Doing well. Tired, but good, as always. How are you doing?
Good. I'm a little stressed, as you know, with all the technical difficulties of things. But we got it figured out, and now we're here. So hopefully everything will run smoothly.
Yeah, hopefully.
So yeah, this evening we're going to talk about a fun movie. A very deep movie, a very powerful movie. One that has impacted millions. And some argue all this is true. And I can see that argument. So I'm saying it with some jests and also not some jests. But yes, we're talking about the one and only Kung Fu Panda. I thought I'd start once again with a brief rundown of how the episode's laid out. I'm going to start it with a list of facts for Savannah, some that she might know, some that she doesn't know. Then we'll follow that up with our history of the movie, our thoughts on the movie. We'll go through our rating system and rate it from 1 to 5 in each of the categories. We'll give our overall rating, our recommendation. We have a new section called Tom Hanks.
Oh no.
Or maybe we should call it Hom Tanks for fun. We're still working on a name, and Savannah, she can't answer it yet. She has to think about who in the movie would be best suited as, or Tom Hanks, I guess, would be best suited as in the movie. Something like that.
Wow. So Tom Hanks has to be in this movie somehow.
Yeah, like you have to replace someone with Tom Hanks. Yeah. And you can't say it yet. You have to think.
I'm going to have to think.
Yeah, you have to
as we talk.
Yep.
I'll decide though.
We'll decide.
Because he deserves to be in every movie.
All right. So ready for some facts? Mm-hmm. All right. So Kung Fu Panda was released May 15th, 2008. So it's a pretty old movie at this point.
I would have just turned 6 years old.
Very nice. It was distributed by DreamWorks, has a runtime of 92 minutes, so it's a fairly short movie, all things considered. It was written by Jonathan Abel and Glenn Berger. I haven't recognized anything they've done before. The story was by Ethan Reef and Cyrus Voris. I've not recognized anything else they've done either. Kung Fu Panda seems like the one big thing all these guys have been involved with, and then they've done lots and lots and lots of little things. It was directed by John Stevenson, who was a story artist for movies like The Great Muppet Caper and The Labyrinth, both Jim Henson movies. He was a character designer for a lot of animated movies. In 1998, he was hired as the head of story at DreamWorks and worked in the art department for movies like Shrek, and Shrek 2, and Madagascar.
Oh, great movie. No, not Madagascar. I support the Shrek franchise, but definitely not the Madagascar franchise.
So, yeah, he's not really directed anything noteworthy since Kung Fu Panda. He did the sequel to Nomeo and Juliet, Sherlock Gnomes, which nobody likes.
I don't know if I've even seen that.
I haven't either, and I don't want to see it.
Nomeo and Juliet was pretty cringe. Not gonna
lie. He did direct a 6-minute short film called The Polar Bears, distributed by the Coca-Cola Company, and it was produced by Ridley Scott, who's a very well-known and respected film director, and it starred Lin-Manuel Miranda.
When was that?
This was in 2012.
Wow. Before Lin-Manuel Miranda was famous?
I guess so. I thought that was very
That was
weird.
his big break.
I guess so. The movie was co-directed by Mark Osborne, someone I'm not familiar with. I bet you know who did the score.
Hans Zimmer.
You know it.
Does he do everything?
I guess so. Pretty much. He co-did the music with another composer, John Powell, who does a lot of animated movies as well, best known for the How to Train Your Dragon movies. In the movie stars Jack Black, Dustin Hoffman, Angelina Jolie, Ian McShane, Seth Rogen, and Jackie Chan. The budget, do you want to guess the budget?
I have no idea. I know animated movies are more expensive than other movies, aren't they?
They do tend to be pretty expensive.
Yeah, I'm not sure. You should just tell me.
It was $130 million.
Wow.
Want to guess its box office?
300 million.
It was 631.7 million.
Wow.
So that made it the third highest grossing movie in 2008 and was the highest grossing animated movie of that year worldwide. It had the fourth largest opening weekend for a DreamWorks film, which is really weird to think of.
I wonder what
because that was a lot of money for Kung Fu Panda. Like, what else would have made
I wonder
much
what was
money?
the first largest grossing.
I think it was behind... I guess the Shrek movies made more than it did. Shrek and Shrek 2. I wonder, did Shrek 3 come out before this?
I'm not sure.
Okay. But yeah, it received lots of positive reviews overall and was nominated for an Academy Award, but lost to a Pixar movie. Do you want to guess which Pixar movie that was?
2008. Tangled.
That's Disney.
Sorry.
That's
wow.
2012, I think.
No, I'm pretty sure. Never mind.
Or 2010.
Hold on. Sorry.
remember.
I'm so terrible.
No,
Pixar
2012.
movie. I don't know.
WALL-E.
Oh, WALL-E. Okay. Wow.
Do you think it should have lost to WALL-E?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think WALL-E was a little more deep.
Maybe.
And more, I don't know, not more unique, but just, it's WALL-E.
More thought-provoking.
Yeah.
But the success of the first movie, Kung Fu Panda, naturally led to a sequel in 2011, Kung Fu Panda 3 in 2016, and number 4 is now on the way with a release date in 2024.
Wow.
So we'll see how that goes. So not a lot of like super fun facts on this one, but they're facts.
They're facts.
So Savannah, what is your history and what are your thoughts on the movie?
I don't remember when I first heard about Kung Fu Panda. I feel like I watched it for the first time when I was older, but I don't remember when that was. Thoughts. I've always enjoyed the movies that I've seen. Poe reminds me of people in my life. But yeah, I've always recalled enjoying it. Like I was telling you earlier, my siblings also enjoyed watching the spin-off show, Legends of Awesomeness. So I think about that. I get the movies and the show confused sometimes, as far as like the stories that went on. But yeah, all in all, I have enjoyed the movies.
Yeah, this movie, I think I told you, the first time I remember my family watching it was like around Christmas time, I think, at my grandparents' place, and it was more for the adults at the time than the kids. Like, we were allowed to see it, we just, at the time, we were kids and just weren't really interested. because we didn't realize the pure awesomeness that this was.
It's true.
I just remember hearing everyone, all the adults in the living room, laughing their heads off, and that's kind of a core memory for me, which is funny.
I know.
I really enjoy this movie. I think it's definitely one that I've grown to appreciate more as I've gotten older. I know a lot of people praise this movie now, especially just in terms of the messages it's putting out, as well as the filmmaking, which we can get more into later. But yeah, I felt like this time around, because I've seen it so many times at this point, I was able to really pay attention to more like of the just like more nuanced things and more of the filmmaking itself, because I just knew everything. I knew every beat and every music cue so well at this point.
That's funny.
I know this movie inside and out.
I definitely can't say that the same is for me, but that's funny that you have seen them many times.
I know. It was a big part of our childhood. The name Kung Fu Panda is kind of a funny name. Like, it just doesn't sound very... Like, you don't think a movie like that would be good.
There's like some sort of knockoff movie called...
Yeah.
I think it's like... What is it called? You've heard of it. It's something like... Hold on, you can talk about something. I'm gonna look it up because.
Well, I know there's a lot of knockoffs of this one. Like, I know there was like a Kung Fu Rabbit that was done, but yeah, there was another panda-related movie about some panda doing martial arts.
Oh, Chop Kick Panda.
Chop Kick Panda.
Yes, Fists of Fury and a Heart of Gold. But there's Chop Kick Panda, Little Panda Fighter, Panda Warrior, Legend of the Rabbit, The Marshal of Fire, Kung Fu Rabbit.
Wow.
But Chop Kick Panda is my favorite.
I mean, that goes to show the success of this movie. That is so funny.
I know. He even looks like Poe, kind of, too.
It is.
It's so weird.
Wow. Anywho, we will not ever be reviewing Chop Kick Panda on this channel. So.
We will review Chop Kick Panda after we review Finding Jesus.
No. Yeah, so those are my thoughts on the movie and my history with it. So now we'll go into our rating system, where we've got 4 categories that we'll rate on a scale of 1 to 5: entertainment, quality, writing, and content. So we'll start with entertainment. This is just how much we enjoyed the movie. So Savannah, on a scale of 1 to 5, and why, what would you give Kung Fu Panda for entertainment?
I think I'd give it a... I don't know. It's hard because, like, I have seen it a lot. Mm-hmm. So it's hard for me to be like, this is really funny when I've, like, heard all of the lines before. Mm-hmm. But... I'd probably give it a 4.
Okay.
Like, it's funny. Jack Black is funny. You can't go wrong with him. I've been having lines from Nacho Libre stuck in my head lately. Yeah, I'd say I'd give it a solid 4 probably. Like, there are good jokes. Mm-hmm. They're funny. They're not like, I feel like they don't really fall flat for the most part. Yeah. Poe is a very charming character. So it's, we like to laugh with him. So yeah, I'd say a 4.
I would probably land at a 4 too, just because I have seen this so many times. It's not boring, but it is like, it does kind of has reached a point where like, I won't know if it's like fresh. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not bored so much. It's just I'm so familiar with
like the line, "There's no price for awesomeness or attractiveness," is a line that I've heard a million times. Maybe the first time I heard it, I would be like, "Haha," but like now I'm like, I've heard that before many times from multiple people.
Exactly. But yeah, I think it's very well paced. It's very fast moving. Like you said, the jokes they're still funny. They're not like, haha funny at this point, but they're still very amusing. And I think the biggest reason they still work is just because Jack Black's performance was really good as Poe, and like this time around I commented on just the noises Jack Black makes, were really weird but really funny, but added so much to the character. Yeah, I think I enjoyed it very much. But yeah, I'd give it a 4, and it's not really the movie's fault at this point. It's kind of just the culture's fault and our fault at this point.
That's true.
So, quality on a scale of 1 to 5, this will be the overall production quality, animation, acting, casting, music, writing. Well, writing, kind of writing. Editing more so. So, what would you give it?
I feel like I'd give it a 4. I feel like for its time, it's good. Like, the animation is good. The characters are well fleshed out, I think. Yeah. I'd say I'd give it a 4. I don't have many super deep thoughts. Because it is an animated children's movie, so, I only have such high expectations. But I think the characters were well developed, and I think the storyline between Master Shifu and, what was his name?
Po?
No,
Tai
Tai Lung. Like, that whole backstory, and then the little glimpse we saw into Tigress's childhood, too, was good. And, like, they didn't go very deep, but I feel like
That's kind of leaning into writing.
Sorry. But
Which
yes.
is fine at this
No,
point.
but, like, character-wise, they were good.
Yeah. For me, equality, I'd say 4. I think there's a lot going for it that would push it to be a 5. The music is really good. Probably out of the 3 movies we've done so far, like the soundtrack or the score is probably by far the best. And that alone deserves a 5 because I think it's very good. The theme Oogway Ascends is very iconic at this point. But the rest of it's just very zesty. It's very colorful. Once again, like I know every cue of music at every point, and if you were to play the soundtrack, I'd know every beat because it just sticks in my brain so well.
That's so funny because I cannot recall a single line of the soundtrack of that movie in my head.
That's funny. But yeah, I think it's really good. Yeah, the pacing of the jokes as well, the pacing of the movie, as we've established with entertainment. The thing that holds it back before is the animation, which is kind of, I don't know what they had to work with, because if you look at WALL-E that came out that year, same year, Pixar, as far as animation goes, was a bit ahead. And
Really?
WALL-E, yeah.
I feel like WALL-E was less, well...
No, WALL-E, and I mean, I think it's really good. It's, even today, like, I would argue it's probably one of Pixar's best looking movies.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's really good. So that's hard to compete with. And I think the animation here was good. It just lacked the texture I needed in a lot of ways. And the characters were really stiff in a lot of moments.
That's true.
I felt they fixed that problem in the later 2 movies. But yeah, they just felt really stiff. And I think that kind of took away from it a little bit. In the environments, there were a lot of pretty images that they held on. And a lot of like transitions that were really nice. It's just the animation, unfortunately, didn't quite match up to what they were trying to capture. So I think they did a good job. They just need a little more to make it reach a 5 for me. But I thought the sound design was really fun and good. Like Poe's body was a lot of fun.
That's true. Bouncy ball sounds.
Bouncy ball sounds, yes. So yeah, it was good. It was well done. It just needs a little more finesse, I think. So writing. So you touched a little bit on this already, but this will go into just characters, the overall plot. What would you give it for writing?
I'd probably give it like a 3.5.
Okay.
Because, and that's just my opinion, like, just because I feel like the movie was very fast-paced,
Mm-hmm.
And it seemed like they kind of just went zoop zoop through everything,
Mm-hmm.
which isn't a bad thing. But I thought, well, I don't know, actually. Maybe a 4. Yeah, I guess I'd give it more of a 4 because, I mean, they do do a good job of character arcs
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. I think Poe's character arc was good. I feel like he when he found out that he was the dragon warrior, he like believed in himself while also doubting himself, but like he kind of just accepted that title, which is kind of interesting because it's like something he like loved. He loved kung fu and stuff, but like everyone doubted him, but he kind of felt he had this confidence, even though at times he felt unconfident, which I thought was good. And he continued throughout that, and I think that helped him become the dragon warrior.
Yeah.
In the end, which was kind of the thing. There was no secret ingredient.
Yeah.
Which I thought was good. And I think Master Shifu's character arc was good too. Kind of learning to loosen up a little bit and also learn how to help Poe according to his abilities. Which is just mostly focusing on characters. But yeah, I think I'd give it a 4.
Yeah, once again, I'm torn when it comes to writing. I'm always torn here. Well, let me talk about it as usual. And we'll see where we'll get by the end.
Okay.
And I'll probably be torn. I think I agree with everything you said about character arcs. The character arcs in this movie are good. I think the dynamic between Poe and Shifu is really interesting because usually what we see with Shifu is very unique for a mentor character. And especially considering this is like a martial art parody film, what we get, the mentor figure, you know, we're thinking of like, not that we've seen the movies, but like the Karate Kid mentor figure, like Ninjago, you have. Is it Sensei Wu?
Yes, Sensei Wu.
Sensei Wu. He's, you know, the old wise guy who's, I mean, we get a little bit of that with Oogway, but there's a certain essence about them. Like they have everything together. They know the stuff. And Shifu knows the stuff, but he's so tumultuous. And I think what they did with his character is probably what intrigued me the most this time around. The fact that they made this just as much about him as they did about Poe in a lot of ways. So I really appreciated that, and I think that added a dynamic that we needed to keep us interested. And while Poe's arc was really enjoyable and very good and very satisfying because he just lacked the confidence in himself because everyone was putting expectations on him to be something that he wasn't. But there was also something that he loved, so he still had to learn it. So there's just this weird dynamic that happens. So I think that was all handled very well. And I think, like you said, it was a bit short. So there's some aspects about it that, you know, could have been explored more.
Yeah.
Some of it definitely seemed a bit fast at times. But at the same time, I'm glad it wasn't necessarily longer because it is a comedy, and the general rule about comedies is you don't want them to go too long, otherwise they won't be funny anymore.
It's true.
So considering that, like, they did a very good job. I think they made us care for the characters very much. Like, considering it's a cartoon and the characters are bouncing off walls and are almost invincible, like, you still feel the weight of, oh no, they could lose, because they have you so invested emotionally in all the right ways. So that's, to me, that's well done. The dynamic between Tai Lung and Shifu, once again, going back to Shifu, was really well done. And just knowing that Shifu did kind of set Tai Lung up for failure in a sense. It wasn't completely all Shifu's fault because Tai Lung, you know, ultimately the decision's going to be up to him. But knowing that Shifu felt guilt over that and Tai Lung felt so much bitterness. And so there's that final confrontation between them, and you feel there's that moment where Tai Lung, you see it in his eyes. He's thinking about maybe forgiving Shifu, but he doesn't. I think that was well done. For writing, I might give this one a 5.
Of course you would.
Of course I would.
Of course you would.
Why is it of course I would?
Because you just would. You generously give out your high rankings for writing.
I know. I don't have a lot of negatives for this one.
It's true. This is not really, there's very little to pick on in this movie, I feel like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, last section we're going on, content. So this is the negative content versus the story as a whole and the positive content, whether we feel that the negative content weighs in okay, is balanced out, if it's necessary, if we're offended by it. So on a scale of 1 to 5, what would you give it for content?
Probably a 4 again. I can't think of anything. I've been trying to think, of a negative element. Crudeness. I don't know, maybe if it's bad that, I just don't really pay attention to some these days. Some I do, but, if it's really slight, it kind of just passes over me. I can't think of much that would be negative.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because, I feel like Poe has a good relationship with his dad. His goose dad.
Mm-hmm.
Poe, other than, the characters do call Poe fat a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Which is rude.
Mm-hmm.
But it's true, also.
Yeah.
About him. But yeah, I can't think of, much crudeness or anything. So I'd probably give it a 4. There's beating each other up and stuff, which might not be good for,
punching.
Little kids. But, it's not offensive to me.
Yeah, I would give it a 4, too. I think, the biggest thing is, it's a martial art film, so there's fighting and violence. But, that's what it is. So maybe depending on who you are, that's an issue in and of itself. No real language.
There is an acupuncture scene, which might be disturbing to people who don't like needles.
Yeah, that was weird. Yeah, I'd say 4. Pretty good overall, I'd say.
Yeah.
All right. So, Savannah, that lands you
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
No, carry on.
No, I was just saying that lands you at a whopping 4 overall. Every category gets a 4. Would you say you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely.
So that gives me 4, 4, 5. So that gives me a 4.5.
Very nice.
For this one. Yeah, I'd say 4 to 4.5 overall. I agree with. Very well done. I just think I've seen it so many times that maybe I've become a little desensitized to it. So, Savannah, would you recommend this movie? If you were to,
happen upon some obscure tribal person who's never seen this movie or heard of it.
There's probably a few. We'd probably find a few people who haven't.
Sure. I wouldn't, recommend it above others necessarily, but, if they're I want to watch Kung Fu Panda, what do you think about it? Would you recommend it? I'd be go for it. Watch it. Laugh.
Enjoy yourself.
Maybe shed a few sentimental tears.
I think I'd fall in line with that. It's very good in a lot of ways. It's just so there's this and there's WALL-E that came out in 2008. If I had to recommend this or WALL-E,
WALL-E would win.
There's no doubt WALL-E by a landslide. And saying WALL-E would win by a landslide isn't saying anything bad about this movie so much as just this movie is very good, but WALL-E is extremely good.
It's true.
And so it's a little unfair in some ways. But yeah, this one I would, if someone wanted to see it, or if I wanted to have a good time, or I would definitely be oh yeah, watch it. It's good. It's fun. Yeah. It's a fun time. All right. So we're on to our final section, our new section. Tom Tanks.
No.
No. Tom Hanks.
There you go.
If you had to take any character?
Master Shifu.
Okay. Explain why.
I've seen Tom Hanks in a grim, surly, coach-like role before in A League of Their Own.
Okay.
And I feel like he could do a good job doing that. I feel like he has the like natural salty vibes that Master Shifu has, but I feel like he also has the ability to. Tom Hanks plays a really good salty character, and I feel like he has the ability to become warm and fuzzy with still a hint of, I don't know what to like, a hint of reserve and not fully warm and fuzzy. So I feel like he could be a good Master Shifu.
Okay. So, like, what would be a line that Master Shifu says that you could very easily picture Tom Hanks doing, or like a scene, if not a line? Like,
Definitely just like scenes where he's like talking to Poe about being lame or whatever. Those kind of scenes. His like more. I have like a scene in my head. I don't know how to describe it though, but like something where he's like having a minor breakdown about Poe. You know, that definitely I could see.
Okay. Well, there you have it. Tom Hanks from Master Shifu, everyone. Release the
Live
Tom
action
Hanks.
version.
Oh. All right. That was our take of Kung Fu Panda. Thank you all for listening, and we hope you're inspired to have some more conversation around this film or just movies in general. Let us know what you think in the comments, because at this point we're only releasing on YouTube. And let us know how we did on rating, if you agree with it, if you disagree. Yeah. Enjoy your evening. Have a good night.